Hey guys, it's Hayden. So it has been a minute since I have done a video. I have been crazy busy and a lot has been going on. Some really great things and some not so great things. But I'm here and I'm alive and I'm excited to do this video. I am a little bit sick, so bear with me if I randomly start coughing or faint or something. Recently, we have been seeing a lot of trans issues in the media, which can be a good thing in the sense that people are talking about these issues, but there's also bad sides to this because it's a lot of scary things that are targeted right at the trans community. So I thought it would be really great to talk about these issues that are coming up in the media so people are aware if you are not informed on what's going on. In 2015, the Human Rights Campaign tracked down 125 different anti-LGBT bills, and out of those 125 bills, 21 of them were directly targeted at the trans community. Fortunately, none of these bills were passed, but some of them, a few of them, may continue on into 2016. I don't know which ones, but that's what I've gathered. So it's 2016. And so far, the Human Rights Campaign has tracked 175 different anti-LGBT bills, and 44 of them are targeted directly at the trans community. That's a large number. That's double in size of what it was last year, and that's kind of terrifying. What's really devastating about these bills is that 23 of them directly target transgender children. Targeting kids, that's really great. Really job well done. 29 of these bills are focused on bathrooms and locker room settings. 2 on healthcare, which includes prisoner healthcare. 3 are anti-transgender marriage. 3 are discrimination carve-outs. And 2 are about birth certificates. And 5 are on the First Amendment Defense Act, which is also known as the FADA, which I'll talk about that a little bit later on. So recently, South Dakota's governor vetoed a bill that would have prohibited trans students for using the bathroom that best matches or corresponds with their gender identity. Thankfully, he vetoed the bill, but it's just a reminder that this is one of many more to come. And so that's why it's good to spread awareness about these types of issues that are happening in our day and age today. These bills are primarily known as bathroom bills. That's what they're commonly called. What's kind of funny though about these bathroom bills, or at least in South Dakota, the definition of biological sex is defined as the physical condition of being male or female as determined by a person's chromosomes and anatomy as identified at birth. And that's what determines what bathroom a student will use, or a locker room. People that were in favor of this bill were saying that it was going to protect the children and primarily protect women and girls. Many people have this idea that transgender individuals are confused about their gender identity and that their identity isn't actually real, and that their actual gender is what was assigned to them at birth. It just blows my mind that people think that being trans is a choice and that our identity is not real. I inject testosterone in my leg weekly just for fun, because I think it's fun to shove a needle in my leg every single week. And some say that they believe that men are just trying to gain access into women's private spaces, and they fear that sexual assault incidences could occur. I just want to say sexual assault is a real thing, and it is really illegal in every single state. And it's kind of upsetting that these people are projecting this sexualized thing onto the trans community, and they think that transgender individuals are predators. That's really disgusting and offensive. So, but in reality, when it comes to assault in these types of situations, it's far more dangerous for a trans individual to enter the bathroom that doesn't correspond with their gender identity. So back to the definition of biological sex. Chromosomes. I've heard this a few times, people saying that I'm not male due to the fact that I don't have the accurate chromosomes. So basically, people have 23 pairs of chromosomes, which means that they have 46 altogether. And the 23rd pair are the sex chromosomes. And generally, female have XX chromosomes and males have XY chromosomes. But what's really interesting about this is some people have XXX chromosomes and some people have XXY chromosomes, and there's multiple more different variations of these chromosomes. And I'm not saying this thinking that, you know, all trans people have different chromosomes from cis people, but I'm saying this because how could they determine what someone's chromosomes are, and if somebody has XXX chromosomes or XXY chromosomes, what bathroom do they use? That's what I'm trying to get at, and it seems kind of ridiculous. Another interesting thing that I came across with doing research on chromosomes is epigenetics. It literally means above genetics. I'm not really a science person, but from my understanding of what I've learned from different videos and articles on epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of changes in organisms caused by modification of gene expression rather than alteration of the genetic code itself. Basically, genes can be turned on and off. And so there are methyl groups that bind to a gene, and they basically turn the switch on and off for a gene. So then there are these things that are called histones. So histones are proteins that are basically a spool for the DNA to wind itself around. And if it's wound loose, they express more, and if it's wound tight, they express less. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, and I don't think there has been any actual study that has been done with epigenetics and trans individuals, but I think, you know, there could be some correlation and links between one another, and with genes being turned on and off. It's just something interesting to think about. And it's a whole nother element with DNA where we're saying, how can you determine one's gender by their actual DNA or chromosomes? But with these bathroom laws, how would they even go about you know, knowing if someone was trans, especially if they're stealth? One brilliant South Dakota lawmaker suggested that they do genital checks on high school athletes, which just seems really fucked up and invasive, but that's just my personal opinion. And with this proposed bill, it stated something on the lines of trans students being able to use a private bathroom, so something that is in like a teacher's lounge, or I'm assuming like a nurse's office, or if there was a teacher's locker room, which I don't know if that even exists. We're trying to make it sound better by saying we're not discriminating against these trans students, we're just saying we want them separate from the other students. And we've seen this kind of thing in history, and it does not work. I mean, this is not a solution. This tells trans and genderqueer children and students that they are abnormal, and it outcasts them, and like bills like this feed into the high rates of depression, anxiety, and suicide that we see in the trans community. And not only does it outcast these trans students, it could potentially out someone who is living stealth, and that could further put them in more danger. So it's just, I don't know, I don't get how people don't see this type of side to it. And it's like, you know, they put shame on these poor kids when they already feel shame about their body, especially in a really private place, you know, where Most trans individuals feel a lot of discomfort walking into a bathroom, especially early on in a transition. And there's already a lot of anxiety there and dysphoria there, and by putting this shame on them, they're just gonna feel worse about themselves. I mean, the bottom line of this is trans people deserve equality and respect as any other cisgender person has. I saw this thing in a TED Talk, and this guy was saying cisgender people are not normal, they are common. And that's so true. So many people put so much emphasis on what is normal, and there really is no normal. We're all different and unique in our own beautiful and bright way. Another interesting thing about this is there's so much shame that's being put on these children when these children can be uplifted in different ways. There was actually a recent study that was done, and it was on transgender children. It basically showed trans children who were given the chance to socially transition and change their name and had support, they had better mental health outcomes. Which seems pretty obvious, because you're actually listening to this child and they don't have to deal with more discrimination and intolerance in their life at such a young age too. So these people that are implementing these bills are grown-ass adults that are telling trans children that they don't fit in and that they have to be over here. And obviously it could have some negative outcomes on these trans children with their own self-acceptance and self-love and appreciation. It just blows my mind that they're targeting children in this. I can't wrap my brain around it. And this is just one of the bills, and there's many more to come, and that's terrifying. I feel like I say terrifying a lot in this, but it is terrifying. There's one bill in Oklahoma that is saying if anyone who applies for a marriage license, they have to report if they have gone through any sort of sex reassignment surgery. There's like another one that's their definition of a husband and wife is natural born men and natural born women. And so it's like all these obstacles that trans people are facing, and they have to jump through these hoops. And it's just ridiculous that they think that it's like okay and this is not discrimination. And then with like healthcare, some of these bills will affect people with getting adequate health care in relation to their transition, even when there's some major health organizations that believe firmly that transitioning is a medical need. I'll talk a little bit about the First Amendment defense bills, because there's like 29 of the bathroom and 5, I believe, of the defense bills. So this is directly off of the government website of what the First Amendment Defense Act is. Prohibits the federal government from taking discriminatory action against a person on the basis that such person believes or acts in accordance with a religious belief or moral conviction that 1. Marriage is or should be recognized as the union of one man and one woman, or 2. Sexual relations are properly reserved to such a marriage. So this is basically people's religious freedom. And this has been commonly used against people of the same sex that want to marry, and now they're coming back and they are using it against the trans community. I did some research on Bible verses regarding transgender topics, and I didn't find a whole lot that fully relate to transgender topics, but one was commonly popping up online. Deuteronomy 22:5. A woman shall not wear a man's garment, nor shall a man put on a woman's cloak, for whoever does these things is an abomination to the Lord your God. The lovely word abomination. We hear this so much in the LGBT community. In reality, that Bible verse doesn't even really do justice to the trans community. Because what about all the people that walk around wearing pants that are women and they're cis women? Or what about dudes that wear a kilt, you know? I guess I don't actually know if that's like men's clothing, but why is clothing gendered? I don't get it. It's like, it has nothing to do with if you are male or female or something else, and I just don't get it. But people pick and choose what they want to hear in the Bible. I mean, abomination gets tossed around so much when in reality there's these little petty things that are abominations that people don't even look at. Like, to touch the skin of a dead pig is an abomination, or to plant 2 crops in the same plot of land is an abomination, or to wear 2 different materials of clothing is an abomination. I formerly did study the Bible a lot, and I was very spiritual and very religious. And from what I've discovered from my time studying the Bible, Jesus Christ was all loving. He preached love, respect, tolerance, and acceptance. And quite honestly, I think he would be really ashamed with how many people act in society today. Another Bible verse that I found pretty interesting and relevant towards this topic was in Galatians. There is neither a Jew nor Greek, there is neither slave nor free, there is no male and female. You are all one in Christ Jesus. I don't really have much to say about it, but I thought it was interesting that that is in there. There is no male or female, so I'll let that just resonate. I think it's completely absurd that there's some people out there that are saying that some of these bills are violating their religious beliefs and views. I may sound really crude for saying that, but the reality is these people are using religion as an excuse to attack and discriminate against a community that needs help now more than ever before. In 2015, we saw, I believe, the highest rates of murders among trans people, which were primarily trans women of color. Only 16 states in the DC have laws that protect trans individuals. That's a really small amount of states, so it just seems really problematic, especially with all these bills coming into play. I felt like this video was really important to do. It has been weighing on my heart for quite some time, and I just hadn't had the time to put it together. So I'm happy that I did, and I hope you all learned something and enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to shoot me a message. You can follow me on Tumblr or even Instagram, or you can private message me. I don't know when I'll do another video. I have a couple other videos in my head that I want to make, so he just keeps hammering, so. Thank you all so much for watching, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and you can also share this video. I hope you all have a safe and wonderful few weeks ahead, and we'll see you next time. Alright, thanks guys, bye.